line, a lost and find. Ended the game in overtime, drawing of a new design, drilling that one earth of mine. Looking to the outward, speaking roundabout words, absurd, blurred to the curb, walking along the verge.
Hey everybody, what is happening? Ish Daily Ish bringing you another part of our Arizona Cardinals Madden 17 Ultimate Team Offensive ebook. We are today going to look into single back jumbo. There's jumbo pair. We're going to start in jumbo. I run a lot more out of jumbo pair. I think that's one of the better formations to run in the Cardinals book, but this one's also pretty effective. And we're gonna look into the passing sets in here, see what they have. We're gonna start off with the Y drag wheel, the play action Y drag wheel. Most of this formation, guys, I feel is set for passing wise is a lot better against cover 2. I'm gonna start off showing you something specific here, though. This is just cover 3 match. If you happen to come across somebody who plays versions of cover 3 match, we already know we have that HB wheel that you can get touchdowns off of, but the PA Y drag wheel, by setting it up here, all we're doing is putting B on a streak, and yeah, that happens. The B on the streak doesn't really even affect that, but that's going to take the top off for the X to come across in case something doesn't work out. I blocked the running back, and sorry guys, I'm not able to get the wording up today, but I'll have the playbook up. It'll be probably Friday to Saturday, so by Saturday I'm assuming I'll have the playbook updated. I'll put the link in the description here, so anybody who has the link, you can always jump in. You'll have all my Cardinal plays, pull it up right in front of you on the screen, print it out if you need to, whatever it is. But so again, this one is, like I say, I'm gonna show you other versions, cover 2, cover 3, and then today we're also going to get into high point passing. I'm going to show you some plays that will be effective in, just to make sure people are using that, get you more comfortable doing that, and we'll incorporate that into the red zone. So at the end, we'll do some red zone stuff. So let's say we'll finish off this play. We'll hit a couple others in here, and then that. So now when you're looking at, basically, this is good against, like I say, cover 2 out of this formation is nice. On that one, basically, I'm going to put B on the streak again. I'm putting A. I was showing you can do whatever with A. I think an in route is the best there. Good timing on that. And then as long as you get a little bit of blocking, so we're going to be blocking again with the running back, not doing play action. I will say ahead of time, the one thing about this formation that is a downside to me is it's not great against a lot of pressure, because having just the back set up directly behind the quarterback, sometimes it's harder to pick up blitzes in that formation than others. Guys can come screaming in unblocked, and your running back doesn't seem to do much on it. So I do prefer to block with an offset running back a lot over a running back there. So if you're facing heavy pressure, keep that in mind in this formation too. It may not be what you want, but at the same time, I'll also say, guys who run a lot of blitzes, nickel blitzes, stuff like that, most of those in a formation like this, you can just run dives, straight dives right up the gut, or maybe you find whatever hole but near the middle. Those normally will tear up a lot of people's blitzes, so keep that in mind also. So like I say, coming out here, when you're getting into cover 3 versions, you'll notice X is going to be a little bit tougher. You will catch windows there, but the odds of getting it, you're going to go down compared to a cover 2. So I would prefer to have a streak on one side. We're going to have a like a flat route, so you want a flood concept out there. More so not like the Y off the bat. If you just leave the Y there, that Y gets open very well against cover 3, cover 4s if they're running purples. Like I say, you can take the B out there, motion him out, put him on a streak. You can you normally streak him anyway. If you want, you can try and get the top off over there, see how you get more separation. A is open easy. You have Y trailing behind in the X. So against cover 3, that's kind of how I'm going to look at this play out there. So it works against both. It's just that for the cover 3 to be able to hit the deeper one, it's going to take a little bit of time. So it's not really, other than that, you're just kind of hitting the underneath sort of routes on it. So to me, in that case, then that's we just got to keep in mind with it. So we'll go out here, hit this one again, showing the flats on that. So after that one there, in a sense, though, that's about mainly we'll go 2-1 there. So we're gonna go back out here. We're gonna do the PA rollout LT, so the play action rollout left. And we're going to come out here, show this again now. We'll show this against Tampa 2 out here. Pretty common stuff. So out here, you see me out here doing this, taking, just a couple basic things here. If you take X on a fade, Y on a streak, okay, and then we got the A. I like to put A on a drag, redrag the A. The separation there needs to be better, I feel. And I'll be showing you what we're doing with this, but this the basic concepts of it. This is okay. I don't really love this because I feel a good user is going to tear that up. So, but that's going to be the backdrop of what we end up doing here. This play here, if you like I say, that streak there in a cover 2. Now that's the thing is you have something crossing, but if he doesn't, that streak there on the inside should get open. You want to pass lane him in the middle. Don't let him go too deep. But what you can also do out here is this: high point passing off of a Tampa 2, high point passing off of any flats, any of those that they put out there in a cover 2 formation. And what we're doing on here is right now I'm even leaving some. I'll leave the running back blocked. I prefer, but you can also cancel play action early in it. And what you want to do is you want to hold that LB, the L1 trigger, the bumper, the L bumper, and right when the X right there receiver passes the corner, sometimes he'll get bumped. Whenever he gets free, you want to hold, I would say about a 10 to 11 o'clock, up left, and you hold that on the left stick, and then you want to throw a bullet pass every time. You do not want any air on this pass at all when you're doing that. So now we're taking the same thing, this concept, and we're moving it down to the 20. You'll see every so often your quarterback will airmail that if he's not very accurate, and sometimes if you throw it while he's still being shoved around by the corner off of the break, then sometimes it'll be a bad pass too. So keep that in mind. You want to get it like right when he's released is ideal. But again, just up left corner, hold that L bumper, and then give it a bullet. Like I say, just give it a full bullet. So right here, I'm canceling right away to do this. So as you see, he's got cover 2. He's got that cover back there, but he has to respect the tight end coming in. Now, if for some reason he trails or puts a man covers there, we've got A slanting underneath because of the way we set that play up. So as you see, and we'll go back to that formation in the red zone later, but as you see there, this is a great setup right here to be running this sort of play and this sort of animation, these high points, and getting comfortable with that. You can score from the 20 to 15 even with this with this setup on that. Like I say, you'll have A at the drag underneath that you already had out there. If you have time, block the running back. Otherwise, cancel the animation right away for that throw. But you're just, like I say, keep an eye on that X right there. Boom, he's released. Boom, I'm going to throw that up and left bullet. I have that ready to go. And that's that. So check this out one more time out there, just so you guys get an idea. So you should be real comfortable doing that. Most people will throw in the middle of the field only. They like that PA seams play, and they like the tight end running up. And most people will throw that when it was in the red zone also. We are now going with the PA CTR waggle there. That's the play action counter waggle. We'll go again here. In that previous play, I don't run a cover 3 version against that previous play, just so you know. I forgot to mention that then. That one I only run a cover 2. Here we go with this one. We'll start cover 2. We'll hit cover 3 on both of these again. this one is more of a cover 2 beater. Most of that's kind of the theme of how I run. This set is mainly against that. So, but we'll try and get you at least some help if they come out when you're expecting Tampa 2 and they give you something else, something like that. We're coming out here. It's real simple, blocking the running back, and you see we're going to take put A on a streak against a Tampa 2. Most cover 2s, you're going to be fine. Inverts, any of that sort of stuff. You're driving off the top with A there. So, I mean, the better route running agility, that you have on your tight end, this is going to be, that's the tight end number 2 right there now, the better off you are. Now, you really want 3 good tight ends for this, but that doesn't mean you need 3 expensive tight ends. Tight end number 2, I do think you want him to be of quality because he does actually catch a few, in this set, if you're running this, he's going to catch a decent amount. I do want those guys to be good blockers though, so that needs to be in theme. So I think really, if you have a decent amount of coin, I would say like Michael Bennett would probably be a really good number 2 for the goal line area possibly. Or if you even need like a cheaper one in there, Jared Cooks' older card has a good one. That one, just because he's got the jumping ability and good blocking. But then along those lines, like I have Cameron Brate, who's real cheap. He's like a number 3. Just something like that. Just whatever works for you on that. But that is something. If you're going to run this, you're going to want to have better set of tight ends for sure. But again, mainly like this, as you see here. If you want A, you can put A on ins, A on drags, all that. Because if you're playing cover 3 and they're doing purples, when they come across the field, you'll be open either way. So you can streak up wide to try and get X underneath there. Put A on an out there. Stuff like that's going to give you a few yards. But against cover 3s here, nothing I'm going to be too thrilled about, obviously. it, but it is there if you go out, when that comes up. But again, mainly what I want to see in the cover 2 stuff is just this though. You'll have the flats out there. You have that deep one, and you have sometimes also you want to keep an eye off of that streak coming in there. Sometimes, depending on how the user's playing, you might hit that down the middle. Like I said, I always try to make sure you're pass leading kind of up and towards the middle, depending on how far away the safeties are. Obviously, you don't want to be doing that into the safeties if they're playing close. You'll get hit sticked and get you guy killed. But and then you can again bringing him out. You'll see even in the cover 2s, because the way a lot of those play, unless they're pressing and shading underneath, a lot of the cover 2s you'll still be able to hit both those routes underneath. Same concept here. Now that we're in cover 3 though, you'll come out here, take a look at that. The B route is not really going to get open. As you see, he's going to be trailed when we go to him. That route though becomes even more open now coming across. So the user's going to have to get on that unless he shades underneath there and he changes to clouds or something like that. You can still hit it obviously coming across before it gets to the sideline, but as you see there, the tight end route, the B route, it's not very appealing. You might get a good break once in a while, depending on, because obviously there's different variations in coverages, but for the most part that's not going to work out. So mainly the Y, and then so even streaking A there, it's not really helpful in the cover 3, because it's not really that X one. It's a tight window, you can hit it, but it's not really going to be that affected by the A in a sense there. So you're better off sometimes putting an A on like an in, again, a drags, something underneath that's going to play under the purples if he's there, just to give you something to fall back on. Because again, you can try and hit the X right here, and you can hit it for 20-25 yards if you see that window open up. But it's more of a riskier throw than you may want to make though. So just depending on what you see when you go out there, that's up to you. So we'll get this one here one more time, then we will move on to the next one out here. As you see there's that window. More than likely, you're going to have to possession catch that, though, of course. So now we get out here. Again, finishing up these. We run real quick on the mesh just to show something on the mesh as far as high point. I don't really run the mesh very often, but when you have this dual tight end set, you've got 3 tight ends, but when you have a set like that with both of them on the line, you can always run, something in the manner of wanting to run streaks or something, or fades on one side, streak on another side, and trying to get that high point pass. So as you see here, I've got Y on a streak, and I have A on a fade. I'm blocking in the back there, and once he comes up, you can hit that high point. There'll be bigger windows, smaller windows, just depending on the coverage out there. In cover 3s, a lot of times, you'll see that open wide up, though, open up really well, just depending on exactly what version they're in. And then you see one of those guys will normally be the user on his part. You're going to have the check down if you need B, of course, underneath, because you have that mesh concept there if you want to do that with B. It's whatever you want to do with B. You're not going to have a lot of success, though, leaving him on a standard route. It's not that helpful. So you can look up here. If you see that gap right there, hit that. Otherwise, you have to check down. And of course, you've also got the C route on the left-hand part of the field, though, also, which is nice for the mesh. So it is something kind of worthwhile. If you're going to be running it on that, just because I don't like the way the way this one sets up normally. It's nice to have the C route, but the way this mesh is, I don't really like having to look on both sides to see which one's going to break better, because a lot of times you've already missed out on the other route. So I think that's a better combination for that one in a sense. There's plenty of other mesh concepts in the game. So let's go out now and get into the back to the red zone. When we're running against red zone, I'm going to start against the 4-4 cover 2 invert. I want to try to always at least do somewhat of a base defense that people will run. As you see out here again now, what we're trying to do is the high point in the back of the end zone on this play now. And this one was the PA dive, the play action dive. Sorry, I didn't get to that when I was showing the art. But as you see, we're coming out here. And basically what I want to do out here, I want to get A on an in route, because I want the user just to hug down. Because, in high point passing in the red zone here, this play specifically is more from about the 4 to the 7 or 8 yard line. I wouldn't run this for a 2-point conversion. It ends up running too far. But with the next play you can. But this one here is right around that range for this one. So again here, I've got A. As you see, I put him on an in. I'm blocking the running back out there. You can just leave the rest of that alone necessarily. And when I high point this one, what I'm doing, I'm holding up. I'm holding straight up. Again, holding the left bumper, L bumper, and again, a bullet pass. You know, you would think sometimes floating would be good, but normally it's not because by the time the ball gets there, your guy throws out of bounds a lot more. He'll throw it away. And the good thing about this one and the other one I showed, you know, on the cover 2 is it's not interceptions that are really the issue. You might get hit, you know, on contact and drop a ball, and so don't get me wrong, you're not going to catch every one of them, but when you can go out, but the thing is very, very low chance of being intercepted if you do it right. Okay, so that is something that's nice about this. And again, you can see over and over hitting that. So even if the user's close, he's going to have to get a real good animation. Now, you know, the downside, this one, you're more in a box in here. So, you know, there are plenty of other concepts like this that you can run. And I can even show you guys more out of other formations that are a little bit wider, that are a little bit tougher for the user to jump on like that. So, you know, this one will still work for the most part, but, you know, a really good user, if you see him dropping straight back on the cover 2, just hit the underneath A. That's what it's there for. And here where it gets to cover 3, and I'm motioning X to the right, putting him on a zig, and you'll see if he's running any cover 3, it's going to create a nice opening for B. A again is on that in. We motioned X to the right, we put him on a zig. And right here he goes out, and there we go. Then it's a nice gap. Now, to work though, is you have to cancel the. You have to block the running back. If you do the play action, which you can, you'll notice that they start playing closer to him. It's tighter coverage though, because of the way that they are starting to see the run. So it puts them in a position where they actually play this pass better. So as you see here, it's tougher. So you are better off blocking the running back and not doing play action on this play if you're trying to hit that particular one. Now, what I like even better, though, against a cover 3 here is taking B, motion him left, and I put X on a slant, and then I put Y on a slant. If they are bringing pressure at all, then block that tight end on the right. Okay, because again, remember I said before, this does not block, even if you're blocking a running back, if they're running a goal line blitz on this play, it's going to kill you. It will. So you want to block the A because he's not necessary. All we're trying to do is the Y and the X, it should be enough to hold the user down, unless you've already hit him with a bunch of this play a couple times in the back of the end zone. Otherwise, he shouldn't be close enough to intercept this pass by any means. He might be able to break it up, but for the most part, as long as you get that hold up and hit it in the back of the end zone here, he shouldn't be able to get to it unless, like I say, unless he's been tipped off or he just guesses lucky either way. But let's go out here, hit this one here, another timeout, and then we'll go out here and to the next one. Okay, so the final play here is going to go back to, this is the one I showed you again earlier, but we're going to show it again, the play action rollout left. We're going to show it here. This one all the way up, again, if you're doing like 2-point conversion, something, this one will actually work closer because it's more shallow of that route again. So if you're wanting to stay in this, it'll work also from the 5 really, pretty well. It's better around there, but like I say, at least this one you can run from the 2 or the 3 yard line if you need to. But yeah, again, so we're gonna go out here. What I would do is put Y. I put Y on a slant. I put A on that in. Again, anything that holds that out. And on this one, you can run the play action doing this. It's fine to really do it. Again, if you're not assuming pressure. If you're assuming blitz, I would not do that. I would just end up blocking the running back for sure. Hopefully, you can get away with just that. If not, you could almost bring the wide receiver over, and when he's on the line, you can block then, because I'd rather have the route combinations all in the box the way they are. I'd rather not lose that, so I would rather block the running back, bring the receiver on the left over, and just make sure he's not standing crossing your center when you snap it. Otherwise, you'll have a fumble. But as long as you snap it, right when he gets to the line or right after he passes the center, you'll have that extra blocking. So if they bring in a ton of heat, you'll be able to get that. So, and that might be a good idea to do that, just to confuse the guy for a second, throw him off, just to snap it like that too, and then hit him in the back of the end zone. But again, here it just showing you the options out of this one. There's going to be better plays, that have these same concepts for high point passing for touchdowns, though. But it's really one of the most effective ways to pass this year into the red zone. It just because it's he can put a lot of guys in that box and they're making it hard to complete passes. So they give you at least a better depth, of field in the red zone, especially in the end zone there, than they normally do within other parts of the game. So you at least do have the ability to go out there and throw the balls up over the heads, of guys, even though there's 3 of them, 5 yards ahead, instead of having guys do Superman jumps, like they do in the past. All right, well, thanks for checking this one out, guys. Hopefully some of this will help you guys out, but we'll get into more here. I'm back on this here soon. Peace.